Captain Kim was not a man who showed fear. As he stood on the bridge of the Earthship Defender, he kept his face calm. Inside, his heart beat fast. The alien ship was huge, at least 20 times bigger than his own vessel. "They're getting closer, Captain," said Lieutenant Park. She worked at her screen, checking all the readings. Her hands moved fast, but her voice stayed steady. "All systems ready?" asked Captain Kim. "Yes, sir. Weapons on standby. Shields at full power." Captain Kim nodded. "Let's hope we don't need them." It had been only 2 months since the aliens had first shown up near Jupiter. They called themselves the Galactic Council. They said they came in peace. They wanted to meet the humans and learn about Earth. After weeks of talks over radio, today was the first face-to-face meeting. The big screen on the bridge lit up. An alien face appeared. It had blue skin and 4 eyes that blinked in an odd pattern. 2 eyes closed while 2 stayed open. Then they switched. "Greetings, Captain Kim of Earth," the alien said. Its mouth didn't match the words. Some kind of translator was working. "I am Overseer Tran of the Galactic Council's Classification Committee." "Greetings, Overseer Tran," said Captain Kim with a small bow. "Earth welcomes you." "We are ready to begin our study of your world," said Tran. "With your permission, we will send down teams to take readings and samples." "Yes, that is fine," said Captain Kim. "But they must be watched by our people at all times." "Of course," said Tran. "We expect nothing less." Over the next week, aliens visited Earth. They went to all the continents. They tested the air, water, and soil. They looked at plants and animals. They studied weather patterns and natural disasters. They asked many questions about how humans lived. Captain Kim was put in charge of working with the alien teams. He watched them closely. They seemed most interested in things humans thought were normal: Earth's gravity, the oxygen in the air, the range of temperatures, the number of dangerous animals and tiny germs. "Your world is quite unusual," Tran told Captain Kim one evening as they watched the sunset from a beach in Hawaii. "How so?" asked Kim. "Most worlds where thinking beings evolve are much more gentle," Tran said. He wore a suit that helped him breathe in Earth's air. "Your gravity is 30% stronger than what most species consider normal. Your oxygen levels would be toxic to many races. Your temperature swings from freezing to burning, and the number of things that can kill you." Tran shook his head. "Yet you humans seem to barely notice." "This is just home to us," said Kim with a shrug. "Exactly," said Tran. "And that is very interesting." After 3 weeks, the Galactic Council called for a meeting. They built a special meeting hall in a field outside of Seoul. Leaders from all Earth's nations came. Captain Kim stood near the front with Lieutenant Park and Dr. Lee, the chief scientist who had been working with the aliens. Overseer Tran stood on a raised platform. Behind him were 20 other aliens from different species. They all wore breathing suits. Some had extra supports to help them stand in Earth's gravity. "People of Earth," Tran's voice boomed through the hall. "The Galactic Council has completed our study of your world. We are here to share our findings and official classification." The room went quiet. This was the moment everyone had been waiting for. "In the galaxy, we rank worlds by their danger level," Tran explained. "From Category 1, which are gentle garden worlds, to Category 5, which are extreme death worlds. These rankings help set trade rules, travel warnings, and your status in the galactic community." Tran paused. All 4 of his eyes blinked at once. "After careful study, we classify Earth as a Category 5 death world. This is one of only 7 known in the explored galaxy." The room burst into noise. People turned to each other, talking excitedly. Captain Kim looked at Dr. Lee, whose eyes were wide with shock. "Is this good?" Lieutenant Park whispered. "I think so," said Captain Kim. "But I'm not sure." Tran raised his hands, calling for quiet. "This classification means several things," he continued. "First, your species is recognized as extremely hardy and adaptable. Second, your products will be in high demand, as anything that can survive on a death world is usually very durable. Third, your people will have special job opportunities throughout the galaxy. especially in dangerous places where other species cannot safely go. The crowd began to cheer. Captain Kim didn't join in. He was watching the aliens behind Tran. They were not cheering. Some looked worried. Others were talking to each other in low voices. However, Tran said, his voice cutting through the noise, this classification also means certain restrictions. For safety reasons, Earth visitors to other worlds must follow special rules. Some places may be off limits until your people prove they can control their strength in lower gravity. Your military ships will be limited in number and size until the Council knows you better. The cheering died down a bit. Some people frowned. These are standard rules for all newly discovered Deathworld species, Tran added quickly. They are not meant as insults, but as safety measures. Your people are simply much stronger and more durable than most species in the galaxy. What you see as a friendly pat on the back could break someone's bones. When the meeting ended, Captain Kim found himself standing with Dr. Lee and Lieutenant Park near the back of the hall. This is amazing, said Dr. Lee. Do you realize what this means? We've been living on one of the toughest planets in the galaxy without even knowing it. No wonder they look at us like we're some kind of super beings. I don't like the restrictions, said Lieutenant Park with a frown. Why should we limit our ships? We have a right to protect ourselves. I'm more worried about what they're not telling us, said Captain Kim. He nodded toward a group of council members who were talking in a corner. They looked serious, almost worried. They act like they're afraid of something. Afraid of us? Asked Dr. Lee. That's silly. We've been nothing but friendly. Maybe that's not enough, said Captain Kim. Think about it. If you met someone who could survive things that would kill you instantly, who was naturally stronger and tougher than you, wouldn't you be a little nervous? Lieutenant Park's eyes widened. You think they see us as dangerous? I think, said Captain Kim slowly, that winning this Deathworld status might come with a cost we don't yet understand. As if on cue, Overseer Tran looked over at the three humans. All four of his eyes locked onto them. He said something to the other council members, then started walking toward Captain Kim. Captain, said Tran, his voice friendly but his eyes alert. I hope you and your people are pleased with the classification. We are honored, said Captain Kim carefully. Though I admit, we have many questions about what comes next. Of course. You do, said Tran. And we have many questions for you as well. In fact, the Council would like to invite a group of humans to visit the Galactic Center, to learn more about each other. Captain Kim smiled, but his mind was racing. Was this a genuine invitation? Or did the Council want to study humans more closely? We would be happy to accept, he said. When do we leave? As soon as you're ready, said Tran. All four of his eyes blinked at once. The galaxy is eager to meet the newest Deathworlders. 3 years had passed since Earth was named a Category 5 Deathworld. Things had changed fast. Humans were now a common sight at the Galactic Center, a huge space station where thousands of alien species met to trade, talk, and share ideas. Doctor. Lee checked her notes one last time before her big talk. She was the first human asked to speak at the Galactic Council's yearly science meeting. 5,000 aliens would be watching her. She took a deep breath. You'll do great, said Captain Kim, who now had a new job as Earth Security Chief at the Galactic Center. Just speak clearly and don't move too fast, you might scare them. Dr. Lee smiled. She had learned that many aliens found human movements scary because they were so quick and strong. I've been practicing my slow walk, she said. And I'll try not to get excited and wave my arms around. A soft bell rang. It was time. Dr. Lee walked onto the big round stage. Thousands of alien eyes looked at her. Some had 2 eyes, some had 4, some had more. Some didn't have eyes at all but could still sense her somehow. Thank you for inviting me today, Dr. Lee said into the translator mic. Her words were changed into 20 different languages at once. I am here to talk about how humans adapt to new things. For the next 30 minutes, Dr. Lee showed pictures and charts about how human brains and bodies worked. She explained how humans could learn new skills quickly, fix broken bones in weeks instead of months, and live in many different kinds of places. As you can see from these brain scans, she said, pointing to a big picture behind her. Humans can make new brain paths very quickly when faced with new problems. This helps us deal with sudden dangers or changes. The alien scientists were very quiet. Some were taking notes. Others were talking to each other in low voices. "Any questions?" Dr. Lee asked when she finished. Almost every alien raised a hand, tentacle or other body part. "Yes, the being in blue," Dr. Lee said, pointing to an alien that looked like a tall blue stick with arms. "Is it true that humans continue to do dangerous things even after getting hurt?" The alien asked. "Our studies show that most life forms learn to avoid things that cause pain." "Well, yes," said Dr. Lee. "Humans often try again after failing. We call it determination or perseverance. It's a trait we value." More hands went up. "The one with the red spots," Dr. Lee said. "Is it true that humans do dangerous things for fun?" the spotted alien asked. "We have reports of sports where humans risk death or injury with no clear benefit." Dr. Lee laughed, then stopped when she saw several aliens move back in their seats. "Yes, some humans enjoy testing their limits," she explained. "Rock climbing, deep sea diving, racing in fast vehicles. These activities help us feel alive and push our boundaries." The questions kept coming. Dr. Lee noticed they all had the same theme. The aliens were trying to understand why humans did dangerous things, and if humans could be trusted to make safe choices. After the talk, Dr. Lee met with Captain Kim and Colonel June at the human living area. Colonel June had just arrived from Earth with 5 human soldiers to help with security. "How did it go?" Colonel June asked. "They seemed interested," said Dr. Lee. "But also worried. They keep asking about why we take risks." "They're trying to figure out if we're a threat," said Captain Kim. 3 years, and they still don't trust us fully." "Can you blame them?" asked Colonel June. "Look how fast humans have spread through the galaxy. We're working jobs no one else can do. We're making changes to ships and space stations to make them stronger. We're everywhere." It was true. In just 3 years, humans had found many jobs in the galaxy. They worked as builders in high-gravity places. They were guards for important people. They fixed things in dangerous areas. They could go places and do things most aliens couldn't. "Have you seen the new trade report?" Dr. Lee asked. "Earth goods are selling for high prices. Anything made on a Deathworld is seen as strong and long-lasting." "Earth is doing well," agreed Captain Kim. "But I still feel like we're being watched all the time." Just then, Captain Kim's comm unit buzzed. He answered it and listened, his face getting serious. "There's a problem," he said when he finished. "A mining station near Star Proxima is having trouble. Their air and heat systems are breaking down. The Council is asking for human help." "Why humans?" asked Dr. Lee. "Because the air is getting thin and the place is getting hot," said Captain Kim. "Too dangerous for most aliens, but humans can handle it." "I'll send my best team," said Colonel June. "Captain Song and her crew are made for this kind of work." Just as they were talking, a tall blue alien with 4 eyes walked into the human area. It was Overseer Tran. "I hope I am not interrupting," Tran said. "But I needed to speak with you about the Proxima situation." "We were just discussing it," said Captain Kim. "Colonel June is sending a rescue team." Good, said Tran. "This is exactly why we value humans in the Council. Your natural strengths are very useful." Dr. Lee noticed something odd in Tran's voice. Was it worry, or something else? "How bad is the situation?" she asked. "Very bad," said Tran. "The station is failing. Over 200 workers are trapped there. The air is down to 15% normal levels. Temperature is rising above what most species can survive. But humans can handle it," said Colonel June. "Yes," said Tran. "You can. That's why we need you." After Tran left, the 3 humans looked at each other. "Did anyone else feel like he wasn't telling us everything?" asked Dr. Lee. "I've had that feeling since day 1, said Captain Kim. "They need us, but they don't fully trust us." "Well, we'll help anyway," said Colonel June. "That's what humans do." Later that night, Dr. Lee couldn't sleep. She got up and went to the viewing area that looked out into space. The galactic center hung in the blackness, a huge wheel of lights and movement. Can't sleep? Asked a voice behind her. It was Ambassador Han, Earth's main speaker to the Galactic Council. Too much on my mind, said Dr. Lee. Do you ever feel like we're being tested? Every day, said Ambassador Han with a small laugh. The Council gives us just enough rope to see if we'll hang ourselves. What do you mean? They watch how we use our strength, said Ambassador Han. They watch if we follow rules, if we help others, if we try to take control. Everything we do is judged. That's not fair, said Dr. Lee. We've done nothing but help since we joined the Council. True, said Ambassador Han, but think about it from their view. A new species shows up that's stronger, tougher, and faster than most. A species that doesn't fear things that would terrify others. A species that learns and adapts quickly. Wouldn't you be careful? Dr. Lee looked out at the stars again. I guess I would. The rescue mission to Proxima will be another test, said Ambassador Han. Let's hope Captain Song passes it. She will, said Dr. Lee. But I'm starting to wonder, at what point will the testing stop? When will they finally trust us? Ambassador Han put a hand on her shoulder. That, Dr. Lee, is the real cost of being from a death world. Always being feared, always being watched, always having to prove we're not monsters, just because we're strong. Captain Song stood in the landing bay of the human rescue ship Swift. Around her, 11 other humans checked their gear. They wore light protective suits, not the full spacesuits that most aliens would need. Humans could handle more heat, less air, and more radiation than most galactic species. Remember, Captain Song told her team, this is not just a rescue mission, it's a test. The Council is watching how we handle this. Officer Bay, her second in command, nodded. They're always watching us. Then let's show them what humans can do, said Engineer Jin as he checked his toolkit. The Swift docked with the mining station that circled the red star Proxima. The station looked bad. Parts of it were dark. Warning lights flashed along its sides. Air levels at 15% of normal, said Officer Bay, looking at her scanner. Temperature at 55 degrees Celsius. Radiation levels rising. Stay in teams of 2, ordered Captain Song. Find survivors first, then fix the main systems. The human team entered the station. The air was thin and hot. It felt like climbing a high mountain on a very hot day. Hard for humans, but not impossible. For most aliens, it would mean death in minutes. They found the first survivors in the main control room. 3 small gray aliens huddled under a table. They wore breathing masks, but they looked weak. One of them was Supervisor Meek, the station boss. Thank the stars you're here, Mick said in a weak voice. The systems failed. We can't breathe. The heat. We'll get you out, Captain Song promised. Where are the others? Lower levels, gasped Meek. Mining areas. About 50 workers still down there. Captain Song sent teams to find the other workers while she stayed with Meek to learn more about what happened. The main cooling system broke, Mick explained. Then, the backup system failed too. The heat is making everything worse. Engineer Jin was looking at the station's computer. His face was serious. Captain, he called, you need to see this. Captain Song joined him at the screen. Jin pointed to a list of computer commands. The backup systems were turned off by someone, Jin said quietly. This wasn't an accident. Someone wanted this station to fail. Captain Song stared at him. Are you saying this was planned? Before Jin could answer, Captain Song's comm unit buzzed. It was Colonel June calling from the Galactic Center. Captain, we found something important, Colonel June said. This is the 3rd accident where humans were called to rescue aliens, in conditions too dangerous for other species. We think someone is testing how humans work under extreme stress. The station shook hard. New alarms started to sound. What's happening? Captain Song asked Meek. The small alien wouldn't meet her eyes. The station, it's falling. The orbit is breaking down. We will crash into the planet in 3 hours. Captain Song looked at Meek closely. The alien seemed scared but not surprised. You knew this would happen, Captain Song said. It wasn't a question. Mick looked down. I was told some systems would fail. To test human rescue skills, but not this, not the orbit, they've gone too far. Who is they? Demanded Captain Song. A group in the council, admitted Mick. They think humans are too powerful, too dangerous. They want to know your limits. Captain Song felt angry, but she pushed it down. Getting mad wouldn't help now. Jin, she said, can we fix the orbit? Jin was already working at the computer. Maybe, but we need to get to the engine room, and we need to fix the main computer first. What about the people still in the lower levels? Asked Officer Bay. We can't leave them, said Captain Song. Bay, take 4 people and get those miners out. Jin, you and I will try to fix the orbit. The rest of you get the aliens we've already found back to our ship. As the team split up, Mick grabbed Captain Song's arm. Why are you helping us? The alien asked. You know this was a trap. Because that's what humans do, said Captain Song. We help people who need it, even if they don't deserve it. In the lower levels, Officer Bay and her team found the trapped miners. The air was even worse here. The miners were barely alive. The human team carried them out, sometimes 2 at a time. Meanwhile, Captain Song and Engineer Jin fought their way to the engine room. Parts of the station were so hot that the walls glowed red. The floor plates were hot enough to burn through their boot soles. In the engine room, Jin worked fast on the controls while Captain Song held a broken pipe in place. The hot metal burned her hands through her gloves, but she didn't let go. Almost. There, Jin said. I need 2 more minutes. Take your time, Captain Song said through gritted teeth. Do it right. Back at the Galactic Center, Colonel June and Dr. Lee watched the rescue mission on a big screen. Many council members were there, too, including Overseer Tran. The station is falling faster than expected, said a council technician. They won't make it out in time. Yes, they will, said Dr. Lee firmly. You don't know humans very well. On the screen, they saw Officer Bay carrying 3 small aliens at once, running through a hallway filled with smoke. They saw other humans, working together to force open doors that had melted shut. They saw Captain Song, her hands burned but still working, helping Jin fix the engines. Their dedication is unexpected, said Overseer Tran, all 4 of his eyes fixed on the screen. Is it? Asked Colonel June. Or did you expect us to abandon them once we knew it was a trap? Tran didn't answer. On the station, Jin finally got the engines working again. The station stopped falling, but it wasn't rising back to a safe orbit. Yet we need more power, Jin said. The main batteries are dead. Captain Song thought for a moment. What about the backup power in our ship? Can we connect it? Yes, said Jin, but someone would have to go outside and connect the power lines by hand. I'll do it, said Captain Song. The space outside the station was filled with radiation from the Red Star. Without a full spacesuit, Captain Song would be exposed to dangerous levels, but there was no time to get a suit. She went out anyway. The radiation burned her skin. The lack of air made her lungs scream, but Captain Song kept working, connecting the power lines from the Swift to the station's engines. When she finished, the engines fired at full power. The station began to rise to a safe orbit. Captain Song made it back inside before she passed out. When she woke up, she was in the medical room of the Swift. All the miners had been saved. The station was safe. Her team had succeeded. Officer Bay sat beside her bed. You did it, Captain. We all did it, said Captain Song. How many did we lose? None, said Bay with a proud smile. Every human is accounted for, and we saved all, 212 aliens on the station. Captain Song closed her eyes, relieved. And the council's test? Did we pass? I think we did more than pass, said Bay. We showed them something they didn't expect. What's that? That humans don't just survive, said Bay. We help others survive too. That's our real strength. As the Swift headed back to the Galactic Center, Captain Song knew this wasn't over. The Council had tried to test human limits, but they had learned something else instead. Something that might be more frightening to them than human strength. They had learned about human compassion, and for some reason, that seemed to scare them even more. The Great Hall of the Galactic Council was full. Over 3,000 aliens from 500 different worlds sat in rising rows of seats. They had come to hear Earth's response to what had happened at the Proxima mining station. 6 months had passed since the rescue mission. In that time, Captain Song had recovered from her radiation burns. The evidence that Engineer Jin had collected from the station's computers had been studied. The truth was now clear. A group within the council had been testing humans by putting them in increasingly dangerous situations. Ambassador Han walked slowly to the center of the hall. He looked calm, but inside he felt nervous. Today's meeting would decide the future of humans in the galaxy. Behind him walked Captain Song, Dr. Lee, Colonel Jun, and Admiral Kim, who used to be Captain Kim before his promotion. They formed a line facing the High Council, where Overseer Tran and 6 other senior aliens sat. Distinguished members of the Galactic Council, Ambassador Han began. Today I speak for all humans. We have learned something troubling. For the past 3 years, some of you have been testing us in secret. A murmur ran through the crowd. Many delegates looked surprised. Others looked away, unable to meet the human eyes. Ambassador Han nodded to Dr. Lee, who pressed a button on her data pad. Large screens around the hall lit up, showing the evidence they had gathered. There were records of emergency calls that had been faked. There were messages between council members planning stress tests for humans. And there was proof that the Proxima station had been sabotaged. 3 times, continued Ambassador Han, humans were called to save people in conditions that would kill most aliens. 3 times we risked our lives without question. The last test at Proxima nearly killed Captain Song and her team. The hall was very quiet now. We understand why you did this, Ambassador Han said. You were afraid of us. You wanted to know what we would do with our strength. Would we use it selfishly? Would we leave others to die? Would we seek revenge when wronged? Overseer Tran stood up. All 4 of his eyes blinked rapidly. You cannot deny that humans could pose a danger, Tran said. Your history is full of wars. Your stories celebrate fighting. Your bodies are made for survival at any cost. Yes, said Ambassador Han. Earth shaped us to be tough, but it also taught us something else. The value of working together. No one survives alone on a dangerous world. Dr. Lee stepped forward. You tested our bodies and our technology, she said. But you were really testing our hearts, our choices, our humanity. On the big screens, new images appeared. They showed humans throughout the galaxy, humans helping build homes on alien worlds, humans teaching alien children, humans working side by side with other species on ships and stations. In every test you set for us, said Captain Song, her voice strong despite the scars still visible on her face, we chose to help rather than harm. At Proxima, when we learned we had been tricked, we still saved everyone. Not one person was left behind. Colonel Jun stepped forward next. You could have simply asked us what we value, he said. We would have told you. Life, freedom, cooperation, and respect. Ambassador Han raised his hand to quiet the murmurs that had started again. Today we offer you a choice, he said clearly. Either we build a real partnership based on honesty and respect, or Earth will leave the Galactic Council and find its own path among the stars. The hall erupted in noise. Aliens argued with each other. Some stood up and shouted. Others called for calm. The debate went on for hours. Finally, the High Council called for quiet. Overseer Tran walked down from his high seat and stood before the humans. Perhaps, he said slowly, we have been measuring the wrong things. We called Earth a Deathworld because it is physically hard. We did not see that such hardship could create not just strong bodies but strong values. Tran turned to face the crowd. The true cost of Earth's Deathworld status was not paid by humans, he said. It was paid by those of us who let fear guide our actions. Today, we admit our mistake and welcome humans as full partners in the Council. Many aliens stood and cheered. Others looked less certain, but they did not object. As the meeting ended, Admiral Kim walked with Captain Song toward the exit. Do you think they really understand us now? He asked quietly. Captain Song watched as aliens from many worlds approached, the human delegation eager to talk and make new connections. Not completely, she replied with a small smile, but they're finally ready to try. Later that evening, the human leaders gathered in their private meeting room at the Earth Embassy. They were tired but happy with how things had gone. So, what happens now? Asked Dr. Lee. Now we build real trust, said Ambassador Han. It won't be easy. Some species will still fear us simply because we're different. But today was a good start, said Admiral Kim. The Council has promised to stop the secret tests. All emergencies will be real from now on. And they've agreed to our other terms? Asked Colonel June. Yes, said Ambassador Han. No more limits on our ships or where we can go. Equal voice in Council decisions, and direct trade with any world that wants to work with us. Captain Song looked out the window at the stars. I keep thinking about what Supervisor Mick asked me on the station, she said. Why we helped even after we knew it was a trap. I told him it's what humans do. It is what we do, agreed Dr. Lee. But it's also smart. We showed the galaxy something important about Deathworlders. What's that? Asked Admiral Kim. That being strong doesn't mean being cruel, said Dr. Lee. That surviving harsh conditions can teach compassion instead of selfishness. That Earth's real gift to us wasn't just our tough bodies, but our tough spirits. A soft chime sounded. The door opened and Overseer Tran entered. For the first time, he was not wearing his breathing mask. He was trying to adapt to human air, just as humans had adapted to many alien environments. I hope I'm not interrupting, he said. I wanted to speak with you, as a friend, not just a council member. Ambassador Han gestured to an empty chair. Please join us. Tran sat down carefully. I want you to know, he said, that not all of us approved of the tests. Some of us argued against them. But fear is a powerful thing. We understand fear, said Admiral Kim. Earth has many dangers. Fear keeps you alive. But you don't let it control you, said Tran. That's what we need to learn. Captain Song smiled. Maybe that's the real lesson of being from a death world, she said. Not just how to be strong, but when to be strong. Not just how to survive, but how to help others survive too. Outside the window, the galaxy spun on, full of worlds both gentle and harsh, and for the first time, Earth's place among them felt truly secure. The cost of Deathworld status had been high. Years of distrust, dangerous tests, and hidden fears. But the reward was finally clear. Respect earned not just for human strength, but for human heart. And that was worth everything.